Nietzsche ever acknowledges that,
Right.
unfortunately.
That was my gut feeling.
Yeah. But what a tragedy, what a tragedy. He would have become enlightened. I think he was very close, very close.
Well, it's tragedy to you. Everybody else seems happy.
I don't think everybody else is happy because, what about these millions of people who are dead because of misinterpretation of
Right.
this philosophy?
But that, I think, Hitler would have used anybody. I mean, he could have used Jesus' words to accomplish his goals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Basically, he was a crazy man.
Yeah.
But to give you some update on Hitler, I think not too long ago they've come up with the startling discovery that Hitler's DNA had contribution from Jewish and African ancestry. So he was, like you mentioned very well, he was doing everything to keep Aryan purity, but he himself was not that.
Yeah.
There was contamination right there, if you call it contamination. So
All he needed psychologically, he wanted to become a painter.
right.
And somebody said that you don't know how to paint. Okay? If somebody had given him a first prize that you are the greatest painter, maybe we would have saved 6 million people. I mean, I'm just kidding, but
and most of the East versus West thinkers boils down to they know darshan or philosophy, but they don't know the spirituality.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting question. I feel, and based on our talks so far, I think the objective world is so pronounced for the Western thinkers.
Material stuff.
Well, just the objective. Let's not, add value to that, whether it's materialistic. But the fact, and I feel, maybe it's the weather. You have 6 months of winter, you're going to worry about survival. Now we have in Mumbai, I mean, you go and sleep on the road, eat on the road, shit on the road, I mean, you're happy. So the struggle for survival is not as pronounced. And I think, I don't know, I feel that might have had something to do with the kind of ideas which come out in different parts of the world.
yeah, no, but that's not the only reason. Because ultimately I believe that whether you are in the objective world or whether you are in the spiritual world,
Inner world, right.
a stage comes in everybody's life.
Right, right.
Even Bill Gates or whoever, there is something missing. Even if you achieve the entire thing in the objective world. Now, what is the time? I don't understand. But everyone at some time feels the emptiness. And that shows that there is something more in you than the objective world. Okay? You cannot deny the invisible world in you. You just cannot. Because that is inherent nature of your search. At some time, everybody has that. And my approach, why I am fascinated by the Eastern darshan, is simply the quality of life. I am not interested in heaven and hell and God is or is not. I mean, these are all very good intellectual discussions. But the quality of life that you can live on this earth is vastly superior. If you look to these realized souls, life they lived on this earth is so qualitatively superior to you and I. Okay? And if they can achieve it, and they all say that it's not our monopoly. Okay? Communism is absolutely 100% true in spiritual world.
But you see, having said that, the numbers don't prove it. There are more people poor in the East than in the West.
Yeah, but that's a wrong understanding of the objective world.
No, but in general, more people in the East have no food to eat.
Yeah, but that doesn't prove anything with regard to the spiritual world. What does that prove?
No, so you are saying that the quality of life, right? When you include quality of life.
But I'm defining not quality of life in the material sense.
But
I'm talking about what
right.
What quality of life, you are materially rich in the West, correct?
Right.
When death comes in your family,
Right.
when divorce comes in your family, when you are unhappy, you are suffering from something, is that compared to these people, they are so superior.
In average, you mean to say average Indian has less suffering than an average
I'm
Westerner?
not talking about average Indian or average Western thinker.
Right.
I'm talking about one who has realized this.
Okay, so
Right. But
more people realize.
But what I'm saying to you is that this is our dispute.
Right.
We are talking about these 10, 12 people, 15 people, 20 people who have the compassion
Right.
to share with you. It is
Right.
because of their compassion. Because many people have realized this and they are in so complete ecstasy. They are in so anand. They are unto themselves that they don't have to need to share. So you can't say there are very few people have reached this ecstasy and not many people have not reached it. What?
Pani.
I think in that I was saying that the difference between the enlightened people, and we counted just a few, but there are so many, versus the Western thinkers
Right.
who do not go beyond a limit,
Right.
is that their lives, the Westerners' lives, after they have written marvelous things, their lives are kind of down in the dumps actually, while our great souls, enlightened entities, have mudit avastha, where they are always in anand and ecstasy, and how nicely they were amongst the masses, loved by masses, and their karuna was flowing all along. While the Western thinkers, they were down in the gutter in their last days.
Okay, well, no, but wait a minute.
And that's because they were not enlightened.
No, but we can get too positivistic. Gandhi's personal life was messed up. His children did not like him. His wife was miserable. How many friends did Gandhi have when he died? He had followers. How many friends?
But
Well, there is question whether Gandhi was enlightened.
No, he was not.
That's exactly what I mean.
You cannot compare
No,
Gandhi
don't even
with these
compare
people.
Gandhi with. He was more a politician and a statesman,
Okay.
but not
But
of this level.
But relatively speaking, in a nearer term, where we can see, okay, because 2,600 years ago is a very different time. Okay. So if we sit in today's sofa and look at that life, you might argue 2,600 years ago the Westerners were roaming the woods.
No, but with that idea of
Greek civilization was yet to come.
No. That
No, but-
idea of time is irrelevant because this is eternal.
No.
At this time you can become enlightened. So enlightenment has nothing to do because these people realized it 2,600 years ago. It is irrelevant. Time is irrelevant when it comes to realizing truth. Okay.
No, I conceive
They are
that
beyond
the,
times.
that the
Okay,
Eastern understanding
May-
of the
may I-
inner world is
may
very
I-
profound.
May I request you to keep the question period at the end as we always, because otherwise I will never be able to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted.
That's all right.
Okay.
We have always the last half an hour reserved for
I'm
discussion.
Chuck, I'm Zip.
So, how is then Jarthushtra's, Sandesh relevant or different than all other realized beings. And that's where, most of the thus spoke Jarthushtra is concentrating, on. And it was very difficult to me because each chapter that he writes, each sentence that he writes is so pregnant with thought, so I had to select. And out of 25 or 30 chapters, I have selected a few to convey what Jarthushtra or the character that this say created represented. The first, two symbols that Nietzsche through Jarthushtra was to convey that he had two friends in the cave. Jarthushtra, when he meditated and lived in the cave for 10 years, he had two friends. Who were the two friends? One is a serpent and the second is the eagle. So there are two symbols, it represents that I had two friends when I was in the cave. Now what does the serpent represent? The serpent represents wisdom. Serpent is a symbol for wisdom. Why serpent is a symbol for wisdom? Because remember, serpent always removes the past. What we call in Gujarati, kachadi, utari nakvi.
Or the skin.
It's the skin.
Right.
It gets rid of the old skin
Right.
and regenerates itself. So a serpent never lives in the past. It lives in the present. So that represents the wisdom. And the second symbol that Jarthushtra uses is eagle. And eagle is what? Eagle is representing freedom. Eagle represents your willingness to take risk and fly into the unknown sky. So these are the two symbolic friends of Jarthushtra according to Nietzsche. One is the serpent, and look at serpent also. It is the symbol that Patanjali uses in Kundalini. What is Kundalini? Kundalini is a serpent flying quietly, and you have to rise that energy from Muladhara to Zorastar. So symbolically, these are the two friends of Jarthushtra according to Nietzsche. In the first chapter that Jarthushtra speaks, he uses three other symbols. He says that the human consciousness, Jarthushtra says, human consciousness passes through three symbolic periods. And the first period he defines symbolically as a camel. That most of us, according to Jarthushtra, are like camel. Somebody defined camel as a committee who was in charge of producing a horse. And they produced a camel. When anything you give to a committee, that's what it becomes. Camel, why? Because he believes, Jarthushtra symbolically says, that camel is very willing to be loaded with all kind of burdens. He doesn't object. He is like a slave. He accepts all the burdens of the world, never says anything against it. And what burden Jarthushtra is talking about symbolically when he says we are all camels? He is talking about ego as the greatest burden. We carry like camel all this unnecessary load among us. So the first stage of consciousness that many of us belong to, Jarthushtra says, we are all like camel. Then Jarthushtra says that from that stage of consciousness, you have to transform yourself. You have to do metamorphosis of yourself. And what the second symbol he represents is the lion. From camel, you become a lion. What does lion represent? Lion represents your willingness to go alone. Lion represents the king, which means that you should have a mastery over yourself. You should be a ruler, not the ruled. And what is the sense of this mastery? There is only one mastery, and that is mastery over your mind. Are you a slave to your mind? Or are you a master to your mind? That's what we call Swami. Why we call Swami? Swami is one who is not ruled by his mind, but his mind follows the Swami. So the second symbol he uses, Jarthushtra, is that you cease to become a camel and transform yourself into a lion. So that is the second stage of the consciousness that Jarthushtra is speaking about. Then the third stage of consciousness that Jarthushtra is talking about is that from lion, ultimate transformation you have to make, that you become a child, Shishu. Now this is very significant because the Western concept of born again is the same concept. What is born again? Born again means that you were given a birth by your physical birth is given by your father and mother. But you have to give yourself a spiritual birth. You have to be born again in order to realize truth. And that is what exactly Jarthushtra is symbolically talking about, where he says that you have to become a childlike. What is childlike? Why does he select the symbol of a child? Because child has not yet developed the mind. Mind is not fully developed. Ego is not fully developed. Child is always inquisitive. Child always has a sense of wonder. Child has all kinds of questions. Child doesn't have any answer, any given answer. Child is innocent. And if you look to all enlightened beings, what is their main quality? They become childlike. Now there are big differences between childishness and childlike. But every realized soul is a child again, becomes a child again, as innocent as a child. He has that sense of wonder at the mystery of the universe of a child. So Jarthushtra is saying that the third stage of your consciousness, you become as innocent, as full of wonder as a child. So these three symbols Jarthushtra is using in his first discourse. The second most important discourse that I have selected of Jarthushtra is Jarthushtra is saying that all religions of the world at least as the followers follow the religion, are anti-body. They say that if you want to realize truth, you have to reject your body. Forget about your body and concentrate on spiritual aspect. Some religions, like followers of Jainism, they especially say kaya kasta. You torture your body. You do upvas. you do anshan, you don't feed your body. They are all rejecting the body in search of spirit. Jarthushtra says that is absolutely against my preaching. Jarthushtra says you cannot reject your body. Your body is brilliant. You cannot survive a minute without your body. Your body breathes automatically. If it is left to you, you say for 24 hours I have to breathe, I need some rest and you will die. Your body does so many things despite yourself. If you take body as a factory, somebody estimated that it would take 6 miles of factory in order to produce what is happening in your body. So many functions automatically that your body's wisdom is greater than your mind's wisdom. Mind is a recent phenomenon. So how can you, Jarthushtra, this is very important. Jarthushtra says you cannot be anti-body. If you believe in soul, that doesn't mean that you have to be torturing your body. That you should be anti. No. Body and soul, that duality also you have to overcome. Body is the outer layer of your soul, and soul is the inside layer of your body. Join the two. You cannot create a duality and a fight between your soul and the body. So respect your body. Your body is the temple where your soul resides. So how can you be against that? So that this is very, very revolutionary, preaching that you cannot be anti-body. You have to respect your body. You cannot torture your body. So all the preachings of some of the religions indicates. It says forget about this duality. They are Advait. They are both one. Respect both of them. So if you are in search for your soul and you search for truth, that doesn't mean that we have to be negative against your body. Respect your body equally as your search for truth. It's a very, very, very powerful, message of the Sutra. The third powerful message of the Sutra is Jarthushtra is accepting life in its totality. I do not know whether Jarthushtra studied Krishna or not, but I have a reason to believe that he must have understood Krishna, because no other character, no other realized soul comes close to Krishna as Jarthushtra. Because Jarthushtra believes in this life fully, 100% he accepts life. There is no other God than life. Life and love, these are the two most important aspects of Jarthushtra's teaching. You cannot be against this life. Life is everything, according to Jarthushtra. And Jarthushtra is the only other exception that I can think of in the whole history of consciousness, where there is total acceptance as Krishna. Krishna never rejects anything. Krishna accepts life in its totality. there is no other God who plays a flute. You cannot think of Mahavir playing a flute. You cannot think of Buddha dancing with gopis. There is not a single aspect of life that Krishna rejects. Krishna accepts all. That is the same attitude of Jarthushtra. As a matter of fact, there is a myth that Jarthushtra, when he was born laughing. Every one of us is born crying. Jarthushtra laughed when he was born. Symbolic. Jarthushtra accepts life in its totality, accepts the music of life, accepts the dance of life, Rasa Leela of life. As a matter of fact, Jarthushtra says that the only God I believe is the dancing God. If God cannot dance, then I don't believe in that kind of a God. Perhaps he was referring to Krishna, who knows. But the total acceptance of life and total acceptance of love in life, quality of love in life. And that's where I believe my understanding is Jarthushtra is even greater in terms of emphasis on love than Christ. Because first of all, Christians have made a major mistake when they say Christ says God is loving. Christ has never said God is loving, because Christ never said that there is a person like that who is loving. Christ has used the words very carefully. If you look at the Bible, Christ says God is love. He has not said God is loving. The quality of love is God. But Jarthushtra doesn't even say that. Jarthushtra doesn't say God is love. Jarthushtra says love is God. Big difference, big difference. The quality of love, the quality that sustains everybody, the quality that brings everything together, the whole universe. Is synthesized to that quality, and that quality is defined as God by Jarthushtra. God is not a person, but God is that quality of love, the quality of synthesis that unites everything together. So although Jarthushtra says God is dead, Jarthushtra believes in godliness, the quality of godliness, the quality of Bhagavata, as I described before. That quality is what he defines as God. Life is God, existence is God, love is God. The total acceptance of that which is beautiful in life. He is in total acceptance of earth. He is not in search of heaven beyond earth. He respects this earth so much. He is a very